I would like to begin my sermon with a story about a friend of mine. Her name is Desiree, and she is just absolutely on fire for the Lord right now. She recently went on a 3-month-long mission trip. She traveled to Ecuador and Peru, so she spent a month and a half in each country. It was her first time on an international mission trip, first time out of the country at all, actually. And being on that trip confirmed for her that she was supposed to go into ministry. She wanted to pursue a career in ministry. She doesn't know exactly which path she'll take, but she had been contemplating it before she left for her trip, and being there confirmed that that's what she was supposed to do. So when she returned, she decided she would begin volunteering in her church's youth group. She asked to be a leader, and of course they said yes. And the first thing that they asked her to do was to help lead worship, because she loves to sing, she loves to play guitar and piano. She's just a very musical person. So she agreed to do it, and she was actually really excited. I remember her calling me and telling me about this new opportunity for her and how she was excited to work with the kids and lead worship and all that. She was just on fire, like I said earlier. But then after the first several weeks, every Wednesday night I would get a call from her after youth group, and she would be in tears. And when I would ask her what was wrong, she would tell me that she simply didn't feel qualified to be leading worship. She was very discouraged because she would get extremely nervous performing in front of people. It wasn't something she'd really dealt with before, but she just felt this anxiety about performing in front of people. So she would often tell me, like, I just don't feel like I should be having these problems because I'm going into ministry. I feel like this is something that I should be good at. I thought this was my calling. Stuff along those lines. So she was contemplating quitting entirely, but she listened to some of the advice from some of her friends and mentors, and she decided to give these struggles over to God instead of holding on to them herself and struggling with them on her own. She acknowledged that public speaking and performing was a weakness of hers, but she prayed that God would give her strength to do it anyway, and instead of dwelling on what she couldn't do, Desiree began to rejoice in what she could do and the gifts that she was given and the strength that she was receiving from the Lord. Soon after this, God placed some of the other youth group leaders from that church in her life. They had recognized that she had been struggling, they noticed it, and they reached out to her, and she had conversations with quite a few of them, and they began to encourage her and pray with her, and they made her feel so much more comfortable and confident to be performing in front of everybody. God placed those people in her life and gave her the strength to do something that she isn't necessarily comfortable doing, and now she really enjoys it. It still makes her nervous, it's still not one of her strong suits, but she enjoys it, and she's reaching these youth with the gospel through music and worship. So Desiree did something that we could all learn from. And Paul actually models this in 2 Corinthians 12:7-10.